What up? What up? It's your boy Conserviz 34. I'm gonna open the show myself, but with a little acoustic opener here. Let's get ready. Please excuse my singing. Could I have been a parking lot attendant? Could I have been a millionaire? Could I have been somewhere in Paris? Could I have been your little brother? Could I have been anyone other than me? Could I have been anyone other than me? Could I have been anyone other than me? Could I have been live from my Saturday night stream? He stands, touches his head, shoes untied, tongue gauging still. Could I have been a magnet for money? Could I have been anyone other than me? 23 and so tired of life. Just say, throw it all away. The images grow darker still. Could I have been anyone other than me? Then I look up at the sky and my mouth is open wide. That's what she said. What's the use in hurrying? Turn, me almost disappear. I am who I am, who I am, who am I? Buying last minute ticks like Trish D&B. My co-workers are not gonna be happy with me. And I sing and dance, I'll play for you tonight. Thrill of it all. Dark clouds will hang on me sometimes. Then I get it out. Then I look up at the sky and my mouth is open wide. What's the taste? What's the use in hurrying? What's the use in hurrying? Turn and almost disappear. Falling out of a world of lies. Could I have been a dancing Nancy? Ooh, dancing Nancy. Could I have been anyone other than me? Then I sing and dance, la la la, hey, la la la, hey, la la la. Sing and dance, la la la, hey, la la la, hey, la la. Sing and dance, I'll play for you tonight. The thrill of it all. I can't really sing, but I don't care, 'cause I work it out, and it's my goddamn stream, so I look up at the sky, and my mouth is open wide. That's what she said. That's what she said. Turn, almost disappear. What up? What up? What up? What up? I hope that came out okay. I can't really hear myself. Um, so that was a little freestyle dancing Nancies. Thank you for everyone who joined in. And it's about that time. You know what time it is. We are not going to have a show without that intro that y'all know so well. So let's get the intro. Cue the intro music. It's your boy, Concert Viz 34. Shout out to everyone who got the tax return. Shout out to everyone who got their wing orders in advance before they ran out of chicken wings. Shout out to the Sixers for trading Ben Simmons. Happy Saturday. Free Dodo, as always. Free my dude Dodo, been locked up. Free my dude Shotgun. He been doing a bid for a minute. Since Wichita 2012. Shout out to people who don't put pineapples on their pizza. And please, corporations, stop shrinking the package size and charging us the same amount. For real, that it's getting crazy. You got to be careful at the grocery store now. It's called shrinkage. Some of you guys may notice. But it is happening. It is happening. Shrinkage, it's real. Check the ounce size, right? Check the liter size of what you buy, because they're shrinking everything and charging the same price. Sometimes they're even charging you more for less. So they shrink the packet and then they raise the price. Okay, you got to be careful. Amy, thank you so much. I saw your comments. I saw your comments on one of my videos I uploaded today. I think you thought it was my live stream and you were busy. But yes, I am on now, and I thank you as always for tuning in to the stream. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I got something on my hair right here. So it has been a pretty eventful, like I would say, 7 days. This time actually, last week I was at Tim Reynolds for TR3. Thursday I went to Humphreys McGee and had a ball at Humphreys McGee. If you haven't heard of them, check them out. I have a review of the show. If you want to learn more about them, check out that review, the Humphreys McGee review, and I'll actually show you guys here on YouTube. So if you go to my page, oops, I don't want to see all that stuff. But if you go to my page, I have some Humphreys. That's me live right there to the far left. Humphreys McGee, the linear, and then this is my concert review, Humphreys McGee. They are an awesome jam band. They actually were part of the D&B Caravan back in 2011. So they actually have a connection with D&B. They played in Chicago, which is their home city. Amy says fast food doesn't even taste the same. Yes, and you know what doesn't taste the same? There's certain restaurants that sometimes the quality of the food isn't as it was. And I do empathize with restaurants because there's supply chain and some of the access to certain foods are not available. because of everything going on. So I understand that. But yes, it is, things have changed, but basically they stay the same, right? Forget about the reasons and the treason we are seeking. So it's been pretty awesome. Two concerts. My third concert in 3 weeks. Two concerts in 2 weeks. My third concert in 3 weeks. This upcoming Thursday, John Mayer opening night of his arena tour. He just had a small stages event, but that doesn't count to me as part of the tour. That's just because it's such an exclusive event. So Albany, New York, this Thursday, John Mayer. I will be there, and I will be hopefully catching up with one of my DMB buddies at the show. Yeah, YouTube Concert Viz 34. Check out some of the reviews and videos. I have a fun fact. The linear right here, this video right here has some fun facts. So I got this cool thing. So this video, what I tried to do with some of these Humphreys McGee's videos from last year, and I did it last year for one of their videos, and I did it this year. As I tried to just pull one of the videos from the show that I recorded, and just throw in some random facts throughout this video. There's random facts there that are on the video. You can see there it says stuff. So check out those videos. So dancing Nancies. Dancing Nancies. We're gonna be talking about that. And shout out to DMB Brianna, or DMB Brianna is the actual her actual page. And she's actually, we wish her happy I wish her happy birthday on her birthday. Her birthday was a couple days ago. And we have what you can do is, if you follow Brianna on Instagram, DMB Brianna 10. And I started off with Dancing Nancies because that is the next one of her voting options for the best of. So what she's been doing, if you've been watching the stream, she picks the best version of certain songs via people voting for them. So initially, she allows people to submit what they think their favorite live version or even studio version of a song is. And then she narrows it down to 3 or 4 choices. And thus we then get our 3 we're choosing from. So for this one, we have Central Park, Fenway, and Red Rocks are the 3. And let's actually listen into okay, so let's listen into Brianna. Yeah.
Sunny Seattle. It does this sometimes in February, where it'll get nice for a few days and then it's like, psych, no, we're gonna go back to being gray. Wanted to get on here quick because we do have our finalists up for the Dancing Nancies for the Best of What's Around Volume 2 by us. And I wanted to say a couple of things about the finalists. First of all, they're not really created equal in terms of the video quality. You see, the video quality for Central Park, it is substantially different than the fan quality from Fenway, and the no video from Red Rocks. 2, I know it's really easy to just say Central Park. I get it. It's really easy to do. There is something to be said about the 90s versions of Nancies. Seriously. And I would just strongly encourage you, prior to just putting in Central Park in the comments, to really listen to all 3 songs. Because Red Rocks is fucking awesome. So is Fenway Park. These are facts. They're all great. And This will go live in our best of what's around by us when it's all done. So make sure you just listen. I'm giving a shout out for the 90s versions because I really love Fenway and I very much love Red Rocks. And I appreciate the difference of opinions that we all have.
Getting ready for Mexico. I just wanted to let you know that Fenway Park is superior to Central Park. Time for Red Rocks.
Could I have been a parking lot attendant? Could I have been a millionaire in Bel Air? Could I have been lost somewhere? Was I was a dreamer, yes I was a dreamer. I have been blessed.
Okay, so we are going to put it to the test of my 13-year-old Evan. Say hello, Evan.
Of course, it's me. Okay, never mind.
So he is going to listen to Central Park.
Of course, Central Park. Like, that's...
And then we're going to listen to Fenway Park.
Fenway Park. Fenway should be interesting.
And then we're going to listen to Red Rocks.
Red Rocks I actually have already listened to, and I do like it.
Yeah. So we're going to listen. We're going to put it to the test of the 13-year-old who was not alive for any of these shows and does not have the experience of being there. And we're going to see which one is Evan's favorite. And he doesn't have an Instagram account, so he can't vote. But it's just for
dang it.
It's just for all of you.
It's because she won't give me a phone. That's why.
It's true.
Pretty dumb.
It's true. All right. So we reviewed the Dancing Nancies, right, Evan?
Yeah.
And which ones did you listen to?
Central Park, Boston, and Red Rocks.
Okay. And what is your conclusion?
Boston's first. I still can't decide if Central or Red Rocks is third, second, whatever. I'm just gonna say they're tied. So yeah.
What makes Fenway the best?
Morally just the solo with the violin. That's morally the best part about it. And the crowd.
Yeah, we're missing our boy energy. Well, thank you, Evan, for chiming in on the Dancing Nancies challenge. We appreciate it. Are you excited to go to Dallas?
Yes, I am. The one thing I'm not. The one thing I'm still sad about is like she won't give me a phone.
So here's my final conclusion about Dancing Nancies and doing this challenge that it just keeps coming back to. And it's 100%, I miss the violin.
All right, so shout out to DNB Brianna, and hey, if shout out to her for her parenting there. She said, I guess she won't give them a phone. That's good parenting. These kids don't need phones until they get older, like older. The more they're detached from a phone, the better. And I say that as I walk in every Saturday morning to talk to middle school kids that are 11 to 13, the mentor program that I'm a part of. So a couple of things. First, Fenway. I have beef with Fenway, not the actual venue, because by the way, fun fact, I go to Fenway every year for Yankees Red Sox, at least once. Some years I've been twice. The only year between 2011 and 2022 that I have not been to Fenway was 2020. And that was because of the pandemic and there was no baseball. I'm a diehard Yankees fan that goes to Fenway every single year. You will even see it on my Instagram, I believe, here. Let's see if I can go back to my... Yep. So you will see Fenway. That's me, Stanton hitting a homer. And this was actually video I took at Fenway. This was a huge... this was right before wild card weekend for the Yankees to stay in contention to make the playoffs. Stan hit a home run. And then, of course, from a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, oh, I love these seats, the roof deck seats. It's so beautiful at Fenway for baseball. You can kind of see the soccer lines there if you zoom in. They had I think a friendly soccer. It's hard to see, but I love Fenway Park as a Yankees fan. That's right, as a Yankees fan, I love Fenway. Um, the upper deck is like Spax upper deck. You can see everything, right? Like you feel like you're on top of the field. So, oh, Amy says, "Do you know what the song is about?" The song is about Dancing Nancies. The song is really just about, what you could have been, right? What could I have been? And this regret of what may have happened. But hey, life is tough. Dark clouds hang on me sometimes, but I work it out, right? It's like this regret of what I might have been, what I could have been, but this is who I am, right? Thinking about what could be, but listen, what is what is, and you have to live life like that. And I'll tell you this personally, this has been a song just as I played for you at the beginning of this. Although what I used to do is when I was literally 23, it's crazy how the lyrics line up. So between 23 and 25 was probably one of the most soul searching parts of my life. I had at 21, 22, I thought I was mastering life. I thought I had life under control, and life happened, right? A long term relationship I was in did not, it ended on terms that I wish, I wasn't happy about. I thought I knew this thing was going to end, but I wasn't ready for the ending. Um, but it just happened. And then I was like, okay, what am I doing? What do I want to do with my life? Um, where am I going? Right. And playing through Under the Table and Dreaming was one of the things that helped me between 23 and 25. And I actually moved into here when I was 25. And or 20, was I 24? I think I was 20. Yeah, I was 25. So I ended up begin to live by myself. No roommates, no nothing, right? Just me, myself, and I. And but playing through the beginning of Under the Table and Dreaming, like playing through the first, like from the beginning through Ants Marching, was something that helps me through some of the toughest times of me trying to figure out. I thought I knew everything. I thought I was progressing, and then I had to figure out my next steps in my career. I had to figure out, okay, I had this relationship through college, and then it just fell apart, right? Um, but it helps me to get through a tough time in my life. And my favorite part of the song is when it goes from when he says, like, when I look up at the sky, and what happens is Dave is playing these minor chords, and then it goes to the A major. It's something about even playing these chords. This is what my hands look like playing these chords. This is one of the most, like, this is some of the like funnest parts of playing Dave, because you have like the open strings sounds so beautiful. Then you go back to that to that darker part. But when I tell you, it helped me through that difficult time in my life where I did not resort to, and this is not a shot at anyone, but it was a time in my life where I did not resort to alcohol. I did not resort to being bitter towards people. I did not resort to doing things that I regret. I did not resort to, trying to find other girls and just, you know, dip and dash and all that other stuff, right? The music helped me in the tough times, and it helped me to regroup and face the world head on and be ready for the next challenge. What happened from this dark time? Well, when I was 23, I also ran my first marathon. That's the other thing. This breakup happened halfway through my first marathon training. I had never ran a marathon in my life, and this thing like fell apart like halfway through the marathon training. So I literally had to run a marathon. And when we talk about Drunken Soldier at some point, I'll share about how that helped me through the marathon. But this is what this music is more than just a CD. It's more than just a song that's played at a show. This music, just like you guys, it's helped me through some of the most difficult times in my life. So I had two choices. I could be bitter, I could be mad, or instead of could I have been, I could say, look, this is who I am. I'm gonna play, I'm gonna walk through, I'm gonna go in this way and find my way out. And at 31, now that I look back at that time in my life, I realized, and there was no resentment towards the person, there was no resentment towards what happened at the time, but I can understand that what happened in that part of my life has prepared me for where I am now, right? The loss of that prepared me for the man I am today. And it's okay to feel upset and feel disappointed. It's okay to be heartbroken. But Dave's music helped me to every, if I needed to play through Under the Table and Dreaming from the beginning of Best of What's Around the Ants, and Dancing Nancies was like the apex of that entire playthrough. I would stop usually at Ants Marching, I believe it was, just because I had other stuff to do. But I would do that after work and after times like where I just felt like I was struggling with figuring out what was going on in my life. And anyway, long story short, this song is just such a powerful song, and it's one of the most important songs to me as far as getting me through when I was 23, right? When I was 24, when I was 25. And, I look back, like I said, I look back now and I'm blessed, right? And that's why this song is amazing, is because of the message of it, right? And I think we can all relate to that, is the message of it, of how this music is powerful. So I say all that to say that the Fenway Park version, I love Fenway, right? I love going for baseball. I do not think it is a good venue for live music, but I understand the people who went to Fenway, all of them who went tell me how great the show was. There's one problem. The recording, it's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. The recording of the Fenway live tracks. So that's live tracks, live track 6. So the 7th and the 8th, right, were both released as a huge box set. And the Dancing Nancies on the 8th. The problem with this show is the crowd and the overall mix that you get. Now the show is amazing, right? It's one of the, you can argue this Fenway weekend is one of the best weekends in the post 2004 DNB, right? 2000 to 2004 is the prime. 2006 was, 2005 was a rough year for many fans, and '06 was this redemption year. And you the thing with this version is they actually manipulated the crowd volume, kind of like the Atlanta Hawks were accused of doing. Atlanta Falcons were accused of doing the same thing, pumping in crowd volume to their stadium, and I believe the Saints were too. And for football, the reason that's illegal is because you're making it harder for the visiting team by playing crowd volume in the speakers. You're artificially pumping in a louder crowd than there actually is. And Atlanta at the time played in one sort of dome. They played in the Georgia Dome when they were alleged to be doing this. And what that does is, because it's a dome, the sound bounces off everything and it makes it harder for, again, the visiting team on offense. With Fenway, I believe that the crowd manipulation, and a lot of live tracks have overdubs. They have re-recorded parts. They have things turned up and turned down. It's commonplace for that to happen. But the crowd was artificially put up and down like a sitcom TV show. Like everywhere you look, and the laugh tracks that they have. You're watching Full House. R.I.P. to Bob Saget. And the crowd, ha 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 ha, it goes up and then it goes down and disappears. They did that to Fenway, and to me, it ruined the recording. Just like when you found out Santa Claus wasn't real, it ruined Christmas, right? So I just because of that, I know as we looked at DM Brianna's, her son and her talk about the Fenway version, I can't vote for that version just because I have beef with that recording. Oh, so Amy, your first show was 2005. Awesome. So me personally, I can't vote for the Fenway version because that ticks me off about Fenway. It may seem Tom Petty, right? It may seem silly, but I can't rock with that version. So then it's between Central Park and Red Rocks. What I will say is this: Red Rocks has a little bit more of a better violin solo. Boyd in 95, that solo versus the Central Park 2003 version. It's a little more rocking. But I think to me, there's something about that Central Park version that just is better than any other version. First off, Dave's guitar, again, 2001 to 2004, Dave's guitar was just on a different level. It was at the best, it's the peak DMB, Dave's guitar sound. Because before that, Dave had guitars that weren't always as sharply in tune and they didn't hold their tune as well. You also have this thing that this moment in 2003 is a culminating moment of this band that was growing in popularity. And at the turn of the century, they started selling out football stadiums. Not even, because remember, before they played Fenway Park, their first actual stadium show was Foxborough Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. It was knocked down as they built Gillette Stadium right in the same campus. So they actually played a bigger stadium than Fenway in the Boston area in 1998. That was their first stadium show. So Central Park is this large, there hundreds of thousands of people are in Central Park to listen to this show. The band that's really the peak of DMB, right? After 2003, because Busted Stuff came out in 2002. So you have all of this great material, and the band had all these hits. And Central Park was a representative of like DMB just taking over everything, right? And just having this crowd that was so large in Central Park. After that, there's really nothing that's been able to touch that outside of them going to Argentina and having a great crowd down there. But that is the peak of America loving DMB, 2003. After that, everything since then has, from a crowd perspective, from a turnout perspective, has been downhill. And that's just every band has that, right? Every band has that. But to me, what happened at Central Park, that is the peak of DMB's crowds outside of the Argentina show, which is just a whole separate category. Because Luna Park was a special event, right? And it was also a country that doesn't get Dave Matthews Band shows. They got one, and oh, did they certainly love it. In Argentina and Brazil are great. Like when rock acts go down there, I'm a Linkin Park fan. Linkin Park, when they play down there in South America, when they did, rest in peace to Chester Bennington, they got just as crazy like noise and sound and support and love as DMB did. They love their festivals down there in South America, and many times they may only have one time a year where they have a Lollapalooza type thing that goes down in Brazil or Argentina. So they really take advantage and make the most of it. Matt says saw Pearl Jam at Fenway. Fun atmosphere, but horrible acoustics. Also meant for people to stand elbow to elbow. If you want to catch a drink before, good luck. Okay. Yeah. So you've been to Fenway, and yeah, horrible acoustics, right? And that's why I'm still, Matt, I'm telling you, you already know, I'm waiting for my first Pearl Jam show. They're so freaking lazy. they finally scheduled a decent North American tour, and then they haven't rescheduled it yet. So we're waiting to see. They rescheduled the Europe dates, but they haven't rescheduled North America. But like the last 5 years, there's been a bunch of like, you know, they play 3 or 4 stadiums and call it a day in the United States. Before that, they used to do more shows, and they even had like a winter tour. I would say in the mid 20 teens, they had a winter tour. Because remember, they went to Wells Fargo and MSG and some other stuff, but yeah, they've been lazy. So, what is my pick? That's actually it's tough to say, um, but I would pick Central Park. It's a close draw, and I know the thing is don't say Central Park, and DMB Brianna has a great point, or DM Brianna. I'm gonna call her DMB Brianna because I don't like DM Brianna. It doesn't flow when I say it, when I personally say it. Great handle using the B for both of them. That's awesome, but I can't say it. Anyway, so I'm going to go with Central Park because of it is, yes, it's cliche to say, but to me, it's the best version. Got hundreds of thousands of DMB fans there, and you just have an awesome version. Great show, and that's one of the great moments. Granny, how's it going? Sandra Jones, aka Granny. And we're going to talk about preparing for the 2022 tour, but I'm excited to see Granny and some other people some Deer Creek folks who have been telling me I got to come down to Deer Creek. But we'll talk about that in a moment. But if you want to vote, again, I'll show you. We'll put up the thing. What you want to do, and please, if you guys can participate, you will have my love and support forever if you participate in this. I love what Brianna is doing in this community to have these type of conversations. Called the Best of What's Around series volume 2. So this is her second round. What you do is, again, it's DMB Brianna 10. So just type this into Instagram, right? Let's get her some more followers. DMB Brianna 10. A lot of her followers have come over to check me out. So let's return the favor. And so DMB Brianna 10. Type that into your Instagram search, and then what you have to do, what is your favorite, so these are the rules. All right, time to vote for your, da 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 da. We have amazing video clips from Susie DMB 94. The person at Fenway was thoroughly enjoying themselves. One vote per person. Entry must be on this post, but lobby however you want. Voting ends at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time this Sunday and will be made after the Super Bowl. So your boy Conservative 34 is gonna, let's see if I can. So I'm gonna say this. Okay. So I'm gonna say Central Park. Fenway. Fenway's artificial there's a scar. So compare to the Red Rocks and Central Park versions. Red Rocks has an amazing solo by Boyd. Central Park captures the best of everything. Crowd, mainstream attention, show marks, peak clarity of the band, which from 2003 forward would never have the same type of fanfare coast to coast as they began use football comes down to smaller ballparks. Okay, so smaller ballparks and us tonight us over amphitheater shows. Dave's guitar, 2003, was at its peak as his overall energy and overall energy and quality of sound slash being in tune both were at one point. Roy and Boyd Shine. All right, so that's what I'm going to say on this. Red Rocks is the Red Rocks is the lover. That's what I'm going to say. I'm actually going to say this, and I know. Thank you guys for staying with me live here. Speaking of love, yo, John, I'm writing a book report. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. All right, so Red Rocks, Red Rocks 95 is the lover that was never relationship material, but Central Park, yeah, Red Rocks is the lover that always spontaneous, horrible at material, ability. So- oh, you have the Red Rocks DVD? No, Grant Sandra, this is the Red Rocks 95 version. It's not the 95 version. Yeah, stupid almanac. There's so many different versions to choose from. The envy of the lover that always is spontaneous, but not in tune with giving you what you need. from a spouse. Oh, here we go. Guys, we're making magic. I appreciate it. Check this out. What you need from a spouse to help you through tough times. Central Park is the wife that you can spend. Oh, sorry. Central. Let's do like this. Is the husband slash wife at 20 years down the line as you begin to have as the gray hairs come in is still everything you will ever need on this earth. Okay, so let's actually we're gonna proofread this. Okay, so let's zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in right here so y'all can see this. Central Park gets my vote. Fenway's artificial crowd noise leaves a scar on my soul, and it will never compare to the Red Rocks and Central Park's versions. Red Rocks 95 has an amazing solo by Boyd. However, Central Park captures the best of everything and brings more to the relationship, more to the table. The crowd and mainstream attention to the Central Park to the CP show marks the peak popularity of the band, which after 2003 never had the same type of fanfare coast to coast as it began to reduce from football stadiums down to smaller ballparks and less crowded and do less overall amphitheater shows per tour. Dave's guitar in 2003 was at its peak as his overall acoustic percussive energy and quality of sound being in tune were both on point. Red Rocks 95 was a lover that was always spontaneous, but not in tune with giving you what you need from a spouse to help you through tough times. Central Park is a husband slash wife that 20 years down the line, as as the gray hairs come in, is still everything you will ever need on this earth. Okay, so that's what we're gonna post. All right, that's pretty deep, guys. All right, we spent 30 minutes on why we like Central Park. There we go. All right, it's your boy. It's your boy. So, all right, yeah, Central Park gets my vote. Fenway's artificial crowd noise leaves a scar on my soul, and it will never compare to the Red Rocks and Central Park versions. Red Rocks 95 has an amazing solo by Boyd. However, Central Park captures the best of everything and brings more to the table. The crowd and mainstream attention to the Central Park show marks the peak popularity of the band, which after 2003 would never be the same type of fanfare coast to coast as they begin to reduce from football stadiums down to smaller ballparks and do less overall amphitheater shows per tour. Dave's guitar in 2003 was at its peak as his overall acoustic percussive energy and quality of sound slash being in tune were both on point. Red Rocks 95 was a lover that was always spontaneous but not in tune with giving you what you need from a spouse to help you through the tough times. Central Park is the husband slash wife that 20 years down the line, as the gray hairs come in, is still everything you will ever need on this earth. Boom. All right, folks, that's what we got. So that's what I'm picking. Central Park. Shout out to NYC. And that's my vote. All right, so yeah, that's it for that. But next thing, I want to talk about preparing for the 2022 tour, and this is also something for 2023. Okay, you want to really try to prepare for the hotels and for the rental cars as soon as possible. Lock them in, get them ready, and then if you have to cancel because of whatever reason, you can cancel the free cancellation rental or the free cancellation hotel. You can even get some free cancellation flights. And Granny, yes, Sandra is going to, AKA Granny, is going to be 60. So she's going to the Gore September 3rd. But when you lock in the hotel, when you lock in the rental car, all right, Stupid Almanac's going to watch Slovakia versus Latvia. All right. Well, thank you for checking in and thank you for all the support, all the comments. You know, we love you know, it's nice conversations we have on IG just about stuff behind the scenes. So I really appreciate your support, Stupid Almanac. Thanks for watching the Umphreys videos as well. But you really want to get these things booked as soon as possible. Go on antsmarching.org and you go on the forums, and they will be a guide as rumors come out. And a lot of these dates were pretty dang close. The Alpine weekend was correct. The SPAC weekend was correct. Hartford and Mansfield was correct. The band returning to Texas was correct. So if you hop on these forms, you can get a hotel in advance. The other thing that I'll tell you is if you're able to do this, try to get into town early. Try to make a vacation. I know you know if you're doing 10 shows, you have to just get that weekend. But if you're able to fly into that city early or get into the town early, it's going to make things a lot easier. If there's a thunderstorm, if there's severe weather, if you're in town a couple of days earlier, you can get in there and then be ready. Granny, we'll talk about that behind the scenes. I'll message you after this. Um, yeah, I'll message you about that stuff. So, and also the other thing you want to do is study where you are going. Study where you're going. Um, I've been doing this since I was a kid. It used to be on like smaller maps, Rand McNally maps, and my globe. But I literally looked at the gorge, like routes for the gorge, routes for Mansfield. When I first went to Mansfield, even though I've been there a bunch of times, Hartford, I plan out my trip to Hartford every year where I'm going to park. When I've gone like Madison Square Garden, I had a game plan for that. I had a lot of different things that every place I went for D&B, I pretty much studied the area. You want to study the area, especially if your phone dies or if you don't have a connection. You kind of want to look on Google Maps and you want to see everything. Where's the hotel? How do you get off the highway? All right. Where's the parking lot that you're going to be in? Are you going to have to take a left? Or are you going to have to take a right? Guilford, same thing when I went to Guilford. I actually went to Guilford for Chris Stapleton before I went to D&B's two shows. And it was like a dry run. Same hotel I booked for D&B, I booked for Chris Stapleton a couple weeks before. I think it was like about a month and a half before in Guilford, right? You want to make sure you know your surroundings. It's important. The other thing that I suggest is especially when you are out of town, be very, very careful with how much you drink, how much you consume alcohol wise or whatever you smoke, whatever. And I always say this: you have to be careful with that when you're out of town because a lot of these places, like I know Deer Creek, I called in to Granny and D&B Mamas, And it's like the sun goes down, you're in a field, right? And I know SPAC, the sun goes down, you have nowhere in SPAC. When you park in certain areas like the state park, which is beautiful during the day, at night that sun goes down, there is no lighting, right? There's no lighting in the park because they want, it's meant for people to see the stars. And even though the amphitheater is lit up, you just go a quarter mile away from the amphitheater and it's pitch black. You wouldn't even know there was a concert going on if you couldn't hear anything and you opened your eyes. You would just think you're in a state park. So just make sure. The other thing I recommend is putting a pin down on your phone. So if you have an iPhone, you can definitely do this. I don't have an Android, so I don't know what to tell you except get an iPhone. But put a pin down where you park. And even still, that pin may be hard to find, but put a pin down where you park. And sometimes your phone will automatically put it down so you can find your phone. Find your car whenever you leave. The other thing I will say is this is just from I used to be in audio insurance. I was a claims adjuster. I as of last year, I broke free of that position. It was an awesome job. Just it's a lot. And I'm still in insurance, so I'm always thinking like an insurance guy. But if possible, back into your parking spot. If possible. If possible, back into your parking spot. And this even goes beyond D&B and concerts. The reason I say this is because the majority of accidents that are preventable, like, okay, if I did this, it would reduce my odds of getting an accident, is when you're backing out of a parking spot. If you can back into a spot or pull through into a spot, even if it takes an extra 15 seconds, even if it's extremely cold and that spot is further away, backing into a parking spot will put you in control of your car when you leave. So you don't have a fender bender. Because if you're backing out of a spot and someone else is backing out of a spot at the same time, you could be 95% out of the spot and still be partially liable for that other person because you're not fully in control of the aisle. And it's a very common misconception with people who get in the accident. Like, oh, I was 90% out of the aisle, right? Also, take pictures of the cars next to you, especially if someone seems to have a bigger car or be extremely close. Take pictures of their license plate. Because if something happens, let's just say there is you get a side swipe on your car and you're leaving the parking lot, you can at least send a picture and say, hey, this person was next to me. Their car was blue. My car is white. I have a blue streak on my car on my right side. And here's where it is. And guess what they could do? Just having that picture of their license plate or having your picture of your car next to them. If you get into a debate, and we did this back when I was a claims adjuster, you could say, okay, well, we're going to have the other insurance company measure their customer's car and measure how high their fender is. And then when they go into this debate process with the claim, with the two insurance companies, say, well, there's a scratch about 6 inches high on my customer's door. And it's consistent with the back corner of this other car. Like you can do a lot of stuff just by having pictures. So if you are in a tight parking area, take pictures of both sides of your car, inspect the car too. And this may be tedious, right? But walk around your car, especially if you don't have people in the passenger side. When you leave the venue, just walk around your car, take a look, make sure there's nothing wrong with your car before you leave, so that way you can see if there's anything that happened, because you'll be surprised. It's the type of stuff that happens in parking lots when you're not there. The other thing I will suggest is going with people, but having a single ticket to yourself. Meaning you have people you tailgate with. You may even chill out with them before the show in the lawn, or even by their seat, right? Until the show starts, you're just right by their seat, chilling. And then when the show starts, you have your single ticket. There are better odds, and I'm giving away too much game here, but I want to help people. That's how much I care about you guys. Even if you guys take a ticket away from me. there are better odds if you feel comfortable, right? Some people you want to have someone with you, whether it's for personal reasons, mobility reasons, right? Anxiety reasons. You need someone to be next to you that you trust and know. And I respect that. There's many different reasons why someone may not be comfortable sitting alone. Um, but if you get a single ticket, you have better odds and ease to be able to go by yourself. And also, if somebody backs out, let's just say you have a single ticket, your friend has a single ticket, but there's a couple people you're not sure, they're not consistent people. They may say they're going to buy tickets, but they don't. At least you have your ticket secured and you don't have to sell another ticket, right? I typically go, and I'm not saying everyone should do this, but I typically, when I go to shows, I have people I am with at the show, but I typically buy a seat by myself because I can never be disappointed. If two people drop out of a show, I at least have my ticket secure, right? And I don't have to be disappointed, right? So I always get single tickets like for 99% of my shows in the last 2 years for DNB. The only exception last year was when I was at the Gorge and I sat on the lawn for the first 2 nights. Every other show, even Farm Aid, I was by myself, but I also meet awesome DNB fans, right? Shout out to Sue Q from Rhode Island. She was sitting right by me, and she noticed me from my YouTube channel, and we had some wonderful conversations at Farm Aid. She was a couple seats over, right? So it all works out. It's funny how you just meet people at these shows, and then they become friends. So if you feel comfortable, get one seat, right? Or just get the lawn and then see who decides to show up to the lawn, or try to buy a pit. And then some of your friends who end up committing to the pit will be there. If not, you'll probably see a friend. I've run into people, like I was in the pit for Mohegan, and someone I knew through a mutual friend. Shout out to Ryan from Massachusetts. Ryan was in the pit too, right? So I saw him a couple. He was a little further back behind me, and so it's awesome. But I am excited for this tour, and I am excited to go to the Midwest. So I will be in Deer Creek and Alpine for the Midwest. And I told Granny, I was like, I'm gonna try to do everything I can to get there. Then they announced Alpine's coming back, which was it was possible because they do it like every other tour almost. Alpine comes back. I'm like, no, I have to go to Alpine because I don't know when they'll have Alpine again, or like 2 years is too long. But I found a way that I'll be able to go to Deer Creek and I'll be able to go to Alpine, and it'll all work out from there. So I'm excited for that. And then I'll be at the Hartford Mansfield. I will be at SPAC for those nights as well. So it'll be some great things that'll go on there. And I was going to say, the other thing is, and I talk about this, most of you guys are respectfully, most of you guys are older than me, right? Most of you guys are, some of you guys are my age, but I say this as someone who's been taught so much financially from my parents. Yes, you should buy tickets. You should buy tickets. But what's going on in this world, it's not even political. Just be careful going to too many shows past what you can afford. And again, I know Amy, like you said, hey, I can't do it. But you have to be careful. I know we Dancing Nancy's like, what's the use of worry? What's the use of hurry? But listen, if you only can go to one show, you gotta be ready for what's going. Everything, groceries is going up, right? And some of this stuff isn't going to go down, right? Just be careful putting everything on the line for 5 or 6 DMB tours. And same thing with posters, right? Sometimes you have to pass on the poster. Because if you face a hardship, if you decide that, there's a certain life change, you want to have another child, you want to do all this stuff, What I will say from parents who taught me from day one to save for a rainy day, a 2022 DMB tour stop or two that you can cut to save money, that money is not worth going to 2 extra shows if after this you are going to be in a dire financial situation. Okay. Ticket prices have gone up. Granny, you don't own a one poster? Oh, okay. But for real, and I know some of you guys get it, especially those of you who are at retirement or older, because you're in a phase of your life where every dollar counts. And I have grandparents and that's 20 years ago they started at that realization that, hey, I got to be ready if I live forever. And two of my grandparents are in their late 80s, 86 and 87. So, and they're at a different situation, because they're living so long, right? They're 87. Like a lot of their family didn't live to be 87, right? 86 years old. So I know like how financially that can be a tough thing. But just and I think I'm speaking more to people my age. Just just be careful. And if you're younger, there's some fans younger than me. It's not worth it. Again, go to one show, go to 2 shows. If you have to do the lawn, but save for a rainy day, right? The first couple of years of my touring, I was limited to what I could do, and then I had an emergency fund, and then I have an emergency fund if things get tough, if things change. I had transitions last year with my job, but I'm telling you guys, save, because it's inflation, taxes, the cost of living, the cost of having kids, the cost of paying HOA fees or paying your property taxes. Things are getting crazy in this world right now. And you should still live life to the fullest, but you got to be ready. Like the amount of people, I think it's like 60% of millennials that make over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. 60% of millennials making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. And part of it is, I'm a millennial myself. We're just so blessed. We have grandparents who started to spoil us because like my grandfather, a lot of our grandparents were in World War II or Vietnam, and my grandfather was got a pension for his construction work. So we had grandparents who spoiled us. We had parents, even if our parents were in tough financial positions, we had more access to different things, technology and games, and get what we want. And yeah, and Granny's right. The pandemic could take another turn. I hope not. I hope not. I don't think it is. I'm speaking that things are going to be ready, but you always have to be ready. You always have to be ready with this. You always have to be ready. And the younger you can learn that, the better. I have been taught by the elders in my family. And even with all of that preparation, it's tough, right? My grandparents saved and saved and saved. And we're here. Listen, they're fine, right? My grandparents are fine. And we're here if they need any financially support. My parents, my aunts and uncles were there. But they really rely on, with all this stuff going up, they have to rely on the business expertise of my mother, who's really good with finance, right? So just make sure you always have something ready for a rainy. And some of you guys, listen, I know I get it. Some of you guys going to Mexico, you guys make good money. You have stuff saved up. But I'm just saying, I've seen it, and I've seen it where all it takes is a medical injury. All it takes is one thing to knock you upside down in life. And again, I'm talking more to the younger fans. I know a lot of you experience. I'll just say experience in the you guys are already preparing for stuff, and I feel bad, for Granny and Amy, because the stuff that you guys are going through right now, just with the cost of living, like in what it's hard and we have to look after all of and even my parents. We have to look after our family, because man, all this stuff adds up. When you're young like me, it's fine. Like, I have plenty of years to work, but as time goes on, my parents are about to retire. themselves. They're about to retire, and it's just like, it's so hard. And I'm seeing people in Florida, right? People in Florida and Arizona are they can't even like the rent has gone up so much in Phoenix, right? In Florida, the rent has gone up, and a lot of people who decided to make plans to retire 15 years ago, they're in 2022, and the rent is crazy right now. So I just and I don't have kids. That's the thing is I don't have kids yet. That's why I'm doing all this touring. I don't have a family yet. That listen, I'm working on that. I'm hope. Hey, just hint, hint, hint. I the family, the marriage thing. Hey, it's gonna happen soon. Okay, I'm just gonna give you a preview. There's gonna be some changes in my life. Anyway, she already knows. Okay, by the way, she already knows. Okay, there's gonna be some things. There'll be some. You know, there'll be some. I'll back you up coming up soon. All right. But anyway, I digress. I digress. But yeah, just yeah, it's so I'm my life is going to change touring wise after this tour, right? As far as things I want to do to begin to look to take the next steps from for me to have a family. So oh yeah, Granny knows my yeah, she knows. She's my friend on Facebook, so she knows what's going on. But anyway, um I say all that to say that yes, I am extremely blessed, and without the sacrifice of my parents and everything, I wouldn't be able to go to these. They've instilled and they set me up for success, and they supported me and supplied me with ways to at 31 be able to do this. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't be going to all these shows. Anyway, so just do what you can. Um, do what you can. I'm excited again just to make these trips out to Deer Creek, to make these trips out to Alpine, to go to SPAC, to go to Hartford and Mansfield. And the most important thing for me this year is just meeting a lot of people, catching up with people, because I just felt like in the last since the pandemic, I've just been able to interact with so many different people. Even last year at the Gorge, it was just being able to see a lot of people. It was just awesome. So, all right, that's pretty much going to be the show for today or tonight. It's 11:19. Ticket confirmations. That's going to be a talk of discussion in the next couple of weeks as people put in their warehouse requests. The on sales will happen very shortly in the next half month. And like I said, I just appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys checking out my videos. I trying to think. Hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl. I will. Um, what else is going on? Oh, let me hold on. Speaking of my parents, this is probably why my dad's still married and has a successful relationship. My dad does not there's a stereotype that men do not forget. I mean, men forget everything, right? They forget people's anniversaries. They forget, oh, honey, oh, it's our anniversary. Like, yeah. Men forget. My dad does not forget anything. Today is February 12th. My dad, when I walked into the mentor program today, my dad does the high school as I do middle school. He told me, he's like, today, 40 years ago, guess what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't alive 40 years ago. And he's like, 40 years ago, I went on I think it was the first date. He's like, I went on the first date with your mother in college. We were, so he remembers the first date that he went on, or I think it was their anniversary of dating. I don't even remember. I have a good memory, but I don't remember. I got to ask my dad. I think it was his first date. So, in honor of that, let me see. I'm going to try to pull this up. We're going to play a number 40 for here. We'll do 40 DMB. Let's see if we can find the Cameron indoor one. Oh, here it is. Oh, that's number. All right. So we are going to skip to number 40. Anyway, yeah, happy. It's some sort of anniversary. I say that, but I don't forget certain things. Like I just remember certain numbers and stuff and times, things like that. But my dad did not forget about my mom. Uh, Whatever, something happened 40 years ago. It was either relationship or date or whatever. Oh, I think it was date because he was like, it was like a week after my 21st birthday and da da da. But anyway, and also the other fun thing is we're going to be going to a college hockey game between my parents' alma mater and my favorite team. We're going to be going to a game this Friday, and I'm taking my parents out. Uh, Listen, they beyond deserve it. So I have season tickets, but I bought two seats next to me, so they're going to come out with me. This is our first game since the pandemic, even though we see each other, like they haven't really been going out as much to games, but they're going to be coming in. Amy, I'll be married for 37 years in April. Congratulations. That's awesome. Let's clap it up for that is awesome. I love just hearing I love seeing examples of people that are either been married or have been loyal to their husbands or wives. There's so much negative talk about relationships and people aren't getting married. And listen, it's not easy. Listen, people divorce, right? It's not like it is extremely hard. It is extremely hard. And I know, Granny, we know you know you had a loving husband and he was there. You were there for him until you know his passing and we it's great to see that you were there for him until his last days. And I know he's smiling down on you right now, but it I just love, like I said, my grandparents, both sets of my grandparents were married. Well, my dad's parents are still married. My mom's father passed away in 2020, right before the pandemic, which was the biggest blessing in the world because we got to actually see him. But that grandmother, my mother and her siblings got her some Valentine's Day stuff, and I saw her last week. I'm the favorite grandkid. I advocate for my grandpa. I'm always hanging out with. I'm the closest to all of them. So like most of my other cousins are further away down south, so they're all up here. So I love both sets, but I just love hearing the stories and talking to them and even seeing them argue a little bit. It's so adorable as we look at Valentine's Day coming up. I love how my grandparents they yell at each other, but it's all in love. It's all in love, and you can't get past 20, 30 years, 40 years without without those silly arguments. And even my parents are so funny. uh you know, they know what they I can I know what how they get on each other's nerves, and it's just so adorable. But again, um I love seeing people that really, even there's even some people, I know I'm going into like a non D&B topic for 40 minutes, but even some people that I've seen that are divorced but they look out for each other. I think that's like one of the dopest things ever. Like I know a couple, right? They're not married, but the ex-husband will go over and snowblow his ex-wife's driveway. Like even that type of thing. Hey, it didn't work out, but we're going to we still have this respect. We can't live in the same house. We know that we're better off apart in certain ways, but we can still be friends. Like I think that's a beautiful thing too. Um in situations like that. And even like my mom's aunt, right? She's divorced from her uncle through my grandma, but I mean, that's still my great aunt. I call them, my aunt. That, and I see she goes to my church too. Like she's still family, even though the divorce happened decades ago, even like before I was born. she's still my aunt. She's still stuck with us. She still goes to our events. Like when we're acknowledged or we're awarded and she can show up, she's there. So I really think family is important. And even if things don't work out, a divorce, there's an appreciation that this person was, initially married to family. They're always going to be a part there. Anyway, I'm getting too sentimental here, but I'm going to play this number 40 and then we will get on. But again, I really appreciate you guys. Amy, again, I can't say this enough. It was so nice to talk to you. Luke, if you're watching the replay, Luke, same thing with you. And Mike as well from Canada, who was at the Gorge. I met him at the Gorge, officially met him at the Gorge this past year, but he had been a supporter for a while. I love you guys. I love talking to you guys. This brightens up my Saturday. And I always love doing this at the late night. And I'm surprised you guys are still up. I've been falling asleep. Like I get home from work and I like falling asleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So the fact you guys are still up this late, I appreciate it. I know Amy's in Central Time in Iowa, but still, I find myself falling asleep. I'm turning into my father, like the insurance commercial. My dad falls asleep at like 9:30 with the game on TV, with the game still on, and then wakes up at like 11 o'clock and missed the whole end of the game. It's like one of the best games ever. Like, Dad, did you see that? They came back from 20 points at half. He's like, oh, I was asleep. I'm literally falling asleep now at 9:30. And then I wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on the couch. It's 11:30. But thank you guys. We're gonna end on this number 40 in honor of my parents 40 years ago. They started dating today. Today, I believe that's what it was. Yeah, so thank you guys again. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Peace.
So you will again tell it so. Finally made our way. So you go, run away again away. I'm okay. I've got signed off holding, warning with you late. So this life feeling weight up and quietly from my world, from my head, my love so on and away. I found a way between and waiting. I see this away in the winter wild, and I'll remember. I give you comfort late at night when times aren't bright, nor are they dark the way I leave it. I'm okay. So sail away tonight with scream. Let the wind light and fire me. I'm John. So I'm talking about the fighting, raging, torn and extreme, little walking. Oh, stairs to find out of the way. Nothing you say. with our foolish refrain of our lovers. And my time leads me back here, and then I'm